problem that has reared its head and has become problematic to the extent that we're willing to start a program on. But over the period of a 3 to 5 year period, we should be able to see some gradual or incremental gains in the area that's targeted with the use of the expenditures of these monies. And that's what letter F speaks specifically to. It tells you how we plan to implement the program and what our assessment of that program would be. And the last part is the administration's recommendation, and this is the part that we spell out and we read to the people who do not have copies of the agenda, such that you will know what our recommendation is, how much does it cost, where the funds coming from, and for what period of time we will need this level of information. So you have seen, I've told you about the white sheet that's here. The yellow sheet basically spells out one of the agenda items that has been placed and voted on last night on our board. I hope with this level of sharing information with you, you will begin to see and to hopefully build a level of confidence in us that is so sorely needed. And if that is lost or has been lost, I'm asking you as the newly appointed superintendent to help me build that. If this district were perfect, there would probably be no need for a superintendent. I want to be a superintendent who does in fact make a difference. I want to be a superintendent who is accountable. I want to be a superintendent who wants to be able to walk out into the community with my head held high, because whatever I do, I'm not doing it for me, I'm not doing it for self-preservation, I'm doing it for the children who need us so desperately. If we're ever going to move beyond the point where we are in the world, it begins with our helping the children who will become the citizens and the future leaders of our country. If we deny them now, or if we deny them of educational opportunities, we're asking for trouble in our twilight years. We're asking for trouble when we become those who need the assistance of other people who should be well-bodied, well-minded, and have good spirits. So I'm just sharing with you what my passion is. I come to you not as a stranger. In January will be 3 years that I'm here. I'm not coming to you talking about anything that I heard. I'm coming to you telling you things that I've lived while I'm here. And I'm coming to join in the struggle of making the Waukegan community a better place to be, and the Waukegan Public Schools a school district of choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McKinsey. And now we will hear from Mr. Guerra.
I get the feeling that we've met before on the airwaves or your radios or TV. I understand my boss was over Waukegan about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'd like to address that shortly. About a year ago, I was at Ferry for about 14 years. About a year ago, I laid off about 12 teachers. Because I am a man also about education, and if the teacher's not doing the job, I don't care if they're Colombian, Mexican, black, white, whatever. Those people had to go. 3 of them, thank you. Would you join us? Thank you, guys. So if you can picture 14 years, when I got to Farragut back in November 93, my main goal, as I addressed the staff here at Waukegan High School before I got here, July 1st, I told them that nobody is going to cruise into retirement under my watch. That when I walk in those classrooms, I don't want to see children sleeping at their desks. When I walked in there and I took a class over, and I asked the kid, okay, pick up paragraph number 2. And 2 or 3 of those kids says, I don't have the materials. I had issues with that teacher. Obviously, I wasn't going to embarrass that teacher in front of everybody, because you praise in public and you criticize in private. Of course, the union guy came over and saw me after I talked to the staff and says, Mr. Guerra, your first impression of the staff, from the staff, is not too favorable. I said, well, if you're talking about the teacher that allowed those kids to be sleeping, he's going to have issues with that teacher. So I'm that kind of a principal, on your face kind of principal, in a constructive manner. I walk in your classroom at Farragut, we still walk in there 15, 20 times a year. twice by union, where we have a pre and a post conference, to constructively criticize the teachings of that teacher. But anyway, these teachers that we let off about a year ago, 3 of them were soccer players. If I would have asked them to change the grades, why would I fire them? Number one. The other one was that girlfriend, the cross-country coach. They were not doing their job. One of the questions was, Mr. Guerrero, how can you fire them? We are Hispanics too. I says, we're not only Hispanics, we're educators. And that's very important. But anyway, let's go beyond that. A little bit about me. Because I know you heard some bad stuff about me. But I think I'm better looking on the TV. A little bit about me. I came over from Colombia when I was about 17 years old. I moved to New York. My mom was a maid in Stamford, Connecticut, for a very rich family. And for 2 years, we were in Colombia with my younger brothers, Armando and Guillermo. I'm Eduardo. Of course, when you come to America, they change your name, they give you a sandwich, a social security number, and they give you the same word. But you've gone through it. My father was a college professor. He died at the age, I was about 6 years old. The one goal that we always had for my mom and for my father was to finish college, especially when we came over to America. When we came over to America, thank God nowadays everybody speaks Spanish, so if you don't speak Spanish, you should get with it. As they say, how do you know this country? Come on. But anyway, no, I think a person that speaks a language, whether Spanish, English, Greek, or whatever, when you speak 2 languages, you're getting your money's worth. So we had to go to high school during the day, and in the evening I would go with my mom to evening school. My first job was to wait on tables, and as Freddie Prinze used to say years ago, some of you are too young, it's not my kind of job. I could not work doing dishes. That was not my kind of career. It's not what my parents taught me. I did it for a week, and I quit. I went to work for a nice German gentleman, Emil Siemers, and he told me, I was there for about 2 years, he said, if you want to go to college, we'll pay for you. You seem like you're a nice young man. His son flew for the United States and the Air Force. So that was one of my goals since I was a little kid, to be an Air Force pilot. So when I got to this country, I was in high school, I walked into a recruitment office and says, sir, I would like to be an Air Force officer. The guy said, young man, 3 or 4 things you got to work on. Number 1, you got to learn the language. Number 2, you got to be a citizen. Well, how do you become a citizen? 5 years it takes. In the Air Force, there's 4-year college degree. I said, I'll see you in 5 years. They keep the recruiting office, as you know, for a long time there. I walked back in there 5 years later. I said, do you remember me? I'm sure he did. He said, oh, okay, come on, take the test. Whatever, we passed it, whatever. So I went to flight school. First I went to San Antonio, Texas, officer training school, and I was the only Hispanic. Right? One of the advice that my white recruiter said to me, Harold, don't ever tell them you're Hispanic. They'll wash you out. I said, I couldn't understand what you mean. He says, just do me a favor. Tell them you're Italian. I said, yes, sir. Okay. So after I graduated, I met my drill sergeant. He says to me, you're not a Mexican, are you, boy? You're a Hispanic boy? I said, no, sir, I'm an Italian. You didn't say Italian. Said, I'm an Italian. Yes, sir. After I got my gold bars, the sergeants hang out at when you throw your hands up, and they give you a first salute. And then you give them $1, and they collected $1. After he took my salute, my $1, says, Sergeant, I'm a true Hispanic, 100%, and I'm proud of it, baby. They never come from. But anyway, then